Alright, welcome back to your daily dose. I'm your host Alize, and this is the daily dose where you already know we be doing the most. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit it baby. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any updates on new videos, please hit the bell icon. Make sure you hit that so you can hear them notifications go off. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. I'll mention everything that'll be in the link in the description below at the end of the video. Okay, so I'm answering a fan's question on revision. Okay, and so what is revision and how do we utilize it? Okay, so first off, for starters, to revise something means to go over it. Okay, so say if you took a test, and you know how when your teachers say, okay, they give everybody, like everybody pass back the same test again, but you're going over the answers and you're saying, okay, this is the answer, you're revising your paper. Now when it comes to revision and manifesting, it's the same thing. However, instead of you're taking like a past memory that you have, or you know, before I even explain the rest, let's talk about what it is. You're taking something from your past and you're revising it. You're reaffirming the new reality and the new events of which you want to happen as of in the present moment, okay, as of now. So when I think of revision, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I haven't really done revision before. I don't know, I don't really look back and I'm like, okay, let me revise this event, or maybe this is something how I wanted it to go. I don't do it like something that's a consistent thing all the time. When you are revising, you just have to, instead of you focusing on what, like for example, with the exam, I hope you watch this video, by the way. If you're working on an exam, or if you want to revise a story about something that happened to you in your past, if it's about love, if it's about finance, or however, then you revise it by looking back and visualizing, and you visualize something that new is a new event. Okay, and what I mean by that is, for example, say you didn't pass your exam. Okay, you go back, you visualize that even the score said you had a D, or you know, 60%. You go back and you revise it and you say, no, you got like a 80%. If you're looking for 100%, whatever your score, whatever you want it to be, and you revise that, and then you reaffirm it and you say, you know what, I got a 70% score, you know, or I got a, you know, no, this isn't it, I got 100% score, I have an A, I passed the class, etc., stuff like that. So when people are using revision, like I said, my personal perspective on revision is it's a technique that people do when they're trying to, not trying to, but when they're manifesting. So if you want to revise something, you just have to take that specific event and you have to reaffirm it into what you want it to be as of right now. So if you are a person who struggles in finance department, or if you struggle in the love department, you're gonna use an event in your life, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna say, no, this is how it went. Like say for me, it's been finance and love. So I'll say something like, I've always had money. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly, or like I've always had it. It was always easy for me to obtain money. Money was something that just came to me so easily. Or I am loved. I am a lovable person. You know, I was always loved. I've always been the first option. I've always been the one to be chosen. So I'm reaffirming what I'm taking a particular event that happened and I'm reaffirming it into into this reality. And I'm using my visualization to look back at something and say, no, this is what happened. And I feel like this is also where you can start to use inner conversations. If you have a conversation about something that happened where you fought with your mom or your dad or whatever the case may have been, you can revise that story and say, no, this is how it went. And you can use their voices, and you can actually say, okay, this is what they actually said. You're revising the story, and you're revising that specific event. Okay. Now, I do not study. I do not study Neville Goddard 24/7. I am not a Neville Goddard. I love Neville Goddard. Yeah, I love, like, I really do. I like Neville Goddard a lot, but I'm not this person who's studying Neville Goddard 24/7 or studying manifesting. I feel like it's just something that's just really natural. Sometimes when it comes to revision, I'm not saying don't revise, but I feel like far as the past, if it's something that you want to revise, you can take that and you can totally do it. It's up to you. A lot of us, we get so far gone within these techniques when really manifesting is something that's really supposed to be fun. And honestly, if there's something that happened or had occurred that you didn't like, you can easily change that and revise that story. Like I said, I don't do revision 24/7. I'm not looking back at something that, okay, this may have happened. I'm just going to focus on what I can do to make it, to make the next step, to make things better as of right now. If you want to go back to an event and you do want to revise the story, then yes, most definitely. Reaffirm it and just do a visualization. You can do a inner conversation technique. You can do an eavesdropping technique. You can just look at it from a different perspective, because that's basically what it is. Just like when you're revising a paper, how when I made the example about the exam, all you're doing is going over the person's answers or your answers, and you're recorrecting it, and you're looking at it from a different perspective, because when you revise something, it's an explanation that's given. So that explanation is going to help you to look at things from a different angle. So it's the same thing when you're manifesting. If you're looking at something from a negative perspective, you want to go back to revise that story and say, no, this is what happened, and I'm going to reaffirm this new reality, and I'm going to stick to this new reality, regardless of what may have happened in the past, or however long ago, if it was 2.5 seconds ago, 5 minutes ago, I don't know. If you want to revise the situation, you can do that. And of course you're going to see results, definitely. But I'm not like I said, I'm not a coach. I am not a mentor. I'm not none of that. I'm just a person going through the same, I'm just a spiritual being going through a human experience and manifesting myself and changing my subconscious beliefs. Okay. So, I hope that helped you out a little bit. But like I said, at the end of the day, I try not to do as many techniques. I've always been the type of person that when I manifest something, I like to let it go. I like to just know it into being, and know that aside from that, what I was talking about earlier, I like to know it into being and just, apply the law of detachment and just not be able, not focus too much on it. I feel like you can go back into your past and you can revise things that have happened. However, I'm not saying that, anything can change. Things can change. People can change their minds. Things can happen. Anything is possible. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, you can't revise that because what's done is done. No. If you really feel like, and if you want to go back and you want to change an event, you have the right to change that event. You just have to look at it from a different perspective. And when you look at it from a different perspective, you will then open your mind up to the new possibilities, to the endless possibilities of what can happen. And I feel like when you revise something, it makes you feel a lot better, because then you're looking at it from a different perspective rather than focusing on what happened, what occurred, and the negativity of what happened. The negative outcome that had taken place right then and there. Now you're seeing things from a different perspective and you're open-minded. So you're actually going to see things from, okay, this is how I can now change it. I'm going to affirm it. to be this specific way. It doesn't matter what happened then. It doesn't matter what happened last night. What matters is right now. I'm going to reaffirm this is who I am, or this is what it is, and it's going to change. As long as you are open-minded to those possibilities, you can change anything, okay? Anything can happen, like I said. So, you know, like I said, I'm not an expert on this. I am not a manifesting coach, okay? I am not, you know, I'm just a person going through the same thing that you do. You know, sometimes when I talk to my friend, Layla, I actually, you know, she actually tells me, okay, go back, revise the story. Just say, this is what happened. You can script it out as well. There's another technique. You can also script out how you want things to change. So going back to, I hope this answered your question, but going back to the exam, if you said that if the story is you got a bad grade, go back and say, no, your teacher says, you know what, I can change this grade. This is your grade now. I have an A, or I have all A's, or, you know, you could affirm that my teacher, you know, your teacher changed the grade. Like, I've always had A's, or I've always, you know, it's always been easy for me to pass this class or pass these classes. You know, I'm an A student. I always get good grades. I could get good grades and, you know, not even be there in class. I don't know. But, you know, affirm the new reality into being, okay? And I do want to say this. I myself, when I was in college, I had, there was this one class that I took, and it was English. I hardly showed up for the class. Sometimes I would just call in because I just didn't want to go to class, and that was like the last class I had to go to, and I didn't want to go to class. I just wanted to go back to campus, which was I wanted to go back home because I used to stay on Job Corps campus. So I wanted to go back home, which was technically my home at the time because they provided residential, you know, living and stuff like that. But anyway, I wanted to go home, and I was like, you know, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and skip. Now, it came to a point where I was never there, hardly there. I wasn't even in the group, and the people that were in my group did majority of the work. I was barely there. Like, I was like, oh, I can't, you know, something happened, an emergency. And in college, they don't care, because in high school it's different. They're like, oh, why aren't you here? We're gonna call the parents. Da, 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 da. They don't do that in college. In college, you free. You free as a bird. You do whatever you want. So, you know, yeah, so basically I was like, I had, you know, missed class almost all the time. And not all the time to the point where it became suspicious, but, you know, when it was a book that we had to read, and we had to take, like, you know, we had to like have a discussion on the book and take a test on it, you know, and write an essay or something like that. I passed the test, and I hardly showed up to class, okay? And also, what happened was they asked questions about it, so I listened to what everybody else was talking about in the book, and I just, you know, used what they said and put it in my own sentence, but I rephrased it, but I did it differently. So everybody was looking at me like, how did she do that? And I still passed my class with at least a 80 to 89% or higher. So, and I just had this natural belief that, because I was failing before when I was in college, like in the beginning of my first semester, then I started to pass my classes because I started to take it seriously. So, you know, I've always had this belief where I've always been a A student or a B student. I've always gotten good grades. It's easy for me. I don't have to show up to class in order for me to be able to pass it. That was a natural belief that I had. So because I had that belief and I was confident within myself, you know, because it all goes back to self-conception. Because I was confident within myself, that's how I was able to really pass the class without actually being there. Now, I'm not saying to not show up to class. That's not what I'm saying. Don't be me. You're not me. But what I am saying is, because I had a natural belief that it was easy for me to pass this class, and English is not something that's hard. It's really easy because I took it before when I was in high school. It was just, okay, I don't have to be here to pass it. It's very simple. It's very easy. Even with math was once my very, it was like a very tedious subject for me. In other words, difficult. So because that was, you know, tedious for me at the time, and I had to take a specific exam in order for me to get into the college program because I had to go through Job Corps. I had built this belief that I don't care where I'm at right now. Let me tell you this. I was at 47% in my trade, and I did not take, I was low. I had TABE classes. I had math and I think it was reading classes, math and reading classes, reading TABE classes. And TABE, if you ever went to Job Corps, you'd have to take a TABE exam where to see your levels, to see like your basic level skills, to see where you were at. And if you're at a low level, then they'd have to place you in TABE classes, okay? I believe your gain would be a 3.5, and then when you TABE out would be a 12.9. If you're a Job Corps student, or if you went to Job Corps, then you know what I'm talking about. So I hope this helps you out too, to the fan that had, messaged me, DM'd me last night. So basically this is what I did. I was at 47% in my trade, and I was low in TABE. I didn't even take the TABE exam. I had 2 weeks to change everything and to make sure that I got into the college program. So you know what I did? I had went to one of the coordinators of Job Corps, and I told them that I want to get into the college program. And I told her where I was at, and then she told me, you won't be able to do that because you're at 47% in your trade and you haven't even passed your TABE test, and you even have your other TABE to do. You're not going to do that. So you know what? I looked at her, and I looked her in her eyes, and I told her, do not underestimate me. Don't ever underestimate me. And everything that I did, because of the self-conception that I had this really strong knowing, not belief, not just a belief, because belief, we'll talk about that later. But I had this knowing that in my mind, I was going to be able to get this done within this certain amount of time. I wasn't looking at the time anymore. I said, I'm going to get it done. I am in the college program, and I'm already in college, and I already have my classes, and I've already done what I needed to do. 47% in my trade, and I had 2 weeks to complete 30 blood draws, and 2 weeks to make sure that I got all the packages, everything completed, all the packages for CMA. And I had 2 weeks to get to at least meet a 3.5 TABE gain or a 12.9. And you know what I ended up doing? I ended up doing that. I went to my teacher, my TABE teacher, and I told him what I didn't know. I said, I do not know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. And he said, let's get on it. I was there every single day after hours on Job Corps campus, making sure I was utilizing that time. But I had this knowing that I was going to get it. And when I took the test, I passed. The only thing I needed, 3.5. And he used to always say, I think he said Miss Mills or Miss Jackson, something like that. Miss Jackson, Miss Mills, Miss Alize, she got her gain 3.5. So you have to also, even though that was said to me and I was told that I couldn't do this, I had a knowing, and I had a knowing that no, I can do this. So it doesn't matter what was the outcome. Before, what matters is that you're able to change that and reaffirm it. You do not have to focus on what is in front of you. Let me tell you something. The 3D reality is the basic level of knowledgeable thinking. Okay? Subconscious thinking. Let's say that. And nobody steal this, because I know there's a lot of people that will try to steal this, and I see it. I'm not dumb. I'll be seeing y'all YouTubers be trying to steal from the people coming up. I see it. So anyway, it is a basic level of subconscious thinking based on like 4-dimensional or 5-dimensional, how you hear 3D, 4D, 5D. Those are the, I want to look at 4D as proficient level, and I want to look at 5D as advanced. The reason I'm putting this in here is because there's multiple dimensions, and there's multiple dimensional ways of thinking. Okay? Remember, multiple dimensions and multiple dimensional ways of thinking. So subconsciously, Okay, our conscious is more focused on the 3D reality of things, while the subconscious is focused on the 5D, five-dimensional reality of things. So when you look at things from more, if you're focusing on the conscious way, because the conscious is aware, the unconscious is unaware, going back to subconscious beliefs and how the subconscious and subconscious mind works. Conscious is 10%, subconscious is the 95%, because that is where you're manifesting. That is where all your beliefs, all of the trauma, all of that stuff that happened to you as a child, all of that is right in front of you as of today. Okay. Don't need to go on that. If you want to watch that video, you can go back to one of my past videos, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so when you're looking at things, you're looking at things from an aware perspective. Let's take it back and let's look at things from a different perspective. Don't look at what's in front of you now, because that can easily change. You have to focus on what you already naturally believe, in this subconscious belief that you have within yourself. You have to already see that it's already done. It's already been new. It's something new. It's not, you're not focusing on, okay, this is what it is, because this is what it is. If you say that's what it is, then that's what it's going to be. But if you have the knowing that, no, this can change, then of course it's going to change, because you have that knowing. Do not look at the 3-dimensional, which is the basic level of thinking. Look at more of the 5D dimensional, which is the advanced level of thinking, because when you look at things from that perspective, you are putting yourself in a different it's a word for it. I want to say format. Let's just use that. Not format. You're putting yourself in a different place. You're looking at things from a higher level perspective rather than looking at it from a basic level perspective. And I just thought about this now. The 3D is going to make you feel as if though this is what it's going to be. No, things always change. Time is always changing. It was just 7-Eleven, like about 25 minutes ago. I believe it's 7:33. So because it's 7:33, that means that time is changing. That means that things can change. So you have to already, if you want to be able to revise these situations, don't look at things from a third dimensional level. Look at things from a 5-dimensional level, okay? Look at it from a different perspective. And also, I am a believer of this as well, because even though I only had 2 weeks to get everything done, and it felt like I didn't think about the pressure, I didn't think about none of that. I took my time, I did what I needed to do, I applied it, and I was able to because I had that knowing, and I just knew who I was as an individual, and I knew that whatever I put my mind to, I can get it done. Yes, I could be a scientist, I can be a doctor, I could be a lawyer, I could be anything that I want to be, because I put my mind to it, and because I know it. So when you are in that knowing, you want to stay within that knowing. You want to already know that this is something that, yes, that's why they say you do have to believe, you have to build the belief. But eventually you're not going to have to believe it. You're not even going to have to need faith, because it's just something that you already know. So remember that when you are wanting to revise a certain situation, just look at it as a simple exam. Don't even look at it as it was a test. Look at it from a different perspective and say, no, this is what happened. Let me revise this. Okay, this is what happened. I was able to get this done. I was able to get that done. Because when you look at it from that perspective, you will then start to see that things can definitely change from a different angle. But you can't, oh Lord, it's those scam things calling me. Things can change from a different angle. Things can definitely change. Like I said, I'm not too big on these techniques and stuff, but yes, to revise something, you're just going back in your mind and you're just looking at it from a different perspective. That's all you're doing. It's nothing too hard. So with the exam, look at it from, I passed the exam, my report card, I have B's and A's. That's really what I would look at it as. Okay, and you can revise having the conversation with your teacher. It goes for the same thing with a specific person. If a specific person said they don't want to be with you, no, you do want to be with me. Let me tell you something. My specific person told me, my specific person was like, oh, I just want to be friends, right? Okay, so I said, okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, I didn't react to it. I said, okay, cool. I went back in my mind and I had an inner conversation. I said, this is how the conversation went. and I did revise it. I didn't realize I revised it, but I was revising it. Like I said, I don't just be like, oh, I'm gonna revise. I don't think like that. So I was just like, okay, ooh, my bad. I spit on accident. I was like, nah, I don't believe that. So I went back and I said, and I imagined her telling me, this is how the story went. Alize, I really want to be with you. You're the only one I want to be with. You're the only one that I see myself actually, you know, spending the rest of my life with. That is how I did it. And I used it having an inner conversation and used her voice. That's all it was. And I naturally, that was a revision because I revised the story into what I wanted it to be, and I reaffirmed it. So every day I'm not thinking about when the relationship will happen, when it will happen, how it will happen. No, I won't, because what has happened is communication has increased. She calls me a lot more often. She texts me a lot more often, even when she's at work. It's like, you know, and I said, what do I really want to happen between me and my specific person? These are the natural things I want. Oh, we have long hour conversations have increased. You know, we're getting along. We're actually, you know, having, you know, we make each other laugh. I still make her laugh. And I just have this knowing that, no, she has feelings for me. No, I am loving. I am the one. I am always chosen. I have this knowing because this is how I'm seeing and perceiving myself. I'm not looking at the outside of who I am. I'm not looking at what happened in my past relationships. I'm looking at the now, and I'm focusing on it, and I'm reaffirming the new story of what I want to happen. I'm not looking at what happened with us in the past. No, I'm focusing on what is now and what I visualize. And the visualization is of us, either we could be holding hands, going to the park, going camping, going to the beach, having fun, spending time with each other, laughing, giggling, making random funny faces, all of these beautiful things. And naturally, without realizing it, I'm manifesting that alone. So when you go back, when you are told something in your 3D, you can't look at it from that basic level of thinking. And when a person says something, you have to look at it as, okay, that's a basic level of thinking. I'm going to look at it from the advanced level. I'm going to go to the 5D. I'm going to use my subconscious mind, and I'm going to use the power, my beautiful, powerful subconscious mind to revise this story, and I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Also, I hope you enjoyed the video as well, and this also was able to help you. Like I said, guys, I am not a manifesting coach. Okay, so you can ask me questions. I don't mind asking you questions, but these are experiences that I went through, and I will only give you what works for me. Okay, not everything is going to work for everybody. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Also, if you do want to DM me as well, I will be making a separate Instagram account for where people can actually DM me. That's my personal account. Okay, so I do want to make a professional Instagram account where I have it might be Daily Dose Zay, whatever, I don't know, we'll figure it out. So you guys can DM me and any questions. I won't mind posting them on my videos, and we can actually talk about it. So I hope this helped you, and I hope that, you know, like I said, I feel like you already passed all your classes. That's just what it is. It's already done. Let it go. All right. Peace.